this one.
They've been here for a while. They used to have folks getting close to us.
I can't see anybody because my glasses are fogged.
We miss seeing you all down here, Sherry.
Well,
Morning, morning.
Morning
and a half.
Morning. Sick.
All right, there.
Yeah.
Good morning.
We actually saw her
How
about.
you doing?
Yeah,
And just, I'm like, see, taking one day at a time.
that's how you can.
Morning.
Yeah.
Hey.
Is he doing all right now?
He's doing all right. He's, has been continuing therapy.
How many,
Oh, you didn't go there.
Thank
Oh, it's on. That's it.
That's good.
Tendonitis.
Don't come in this body.
You're the spotty, you're my neighbor. Yeah, our, I'm in B6.
Okay, very good. Yeah, y'all haven't been here very much because I've been out on the porch
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
up
normally
there
we
and
don't
say
see
the
the whole
whole
summer.
Yeah.
So,
So,
well, we're so glad to have y'all. Everybody said, oh, this is our church. Enjoy
a
the
bit, and I can't get my boys up here much. They're, the season's almost over. They're busy, but yeah, I just love it. McKinsey, so we're not 40 minutes from my house, and so I'm up here sometimes. I said I leave my husband home watching football, and I come up here on Friday night or so. Just
I know, it's really nice.
That's your laptop. I'm working on Rachel's laptop. She went to college. I was like, oh, it's old crap. It's nice, sir. I was gonna upgrade mine because their computer equipment's pretty scarce, so a lot of that stuff right now, all the systems,
She's not here today.
Well, yeah. I just had
Makes
to,
sense.
I put a few together with some of them.
Yeah, we're rocking along. That, you know, that guy's up here doing it on the phone for a lot of years. Actually, he's on disability, but he lives here on the place at home. Got a house back there on the back of the property. Anyway, I just live and stay there. Anyway, but he's a heck of a good guy.
Oh, thank you.
Well, you know, I didn't look to where they went. They may directed to your house. I didn't look for that.
You want me to hold something?
I mean, it should be.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to get it straightened out.
Yeah, he has to go, and our son is playing,
It's not showing.
and now we're
Not showing anything spoon.
so I'm.
Can't open it.
But.
Oh, that.
Oh, it's all,
It's
maybe it's already open over there.
Yeah, close that.
Because whatever you were doing here, I could see you doing it in there.
So what about you?
Lake
Is
County.
it Lake County? We dread playing you all out there tough.
Well, last year they were state champ.
Yeah.
Get up here and get in the
So
corner.
now they have a new coach. I think they did, well, the first 2 weeks they had COVID.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what this is.
Morning.
Hey, Kenny. Good morning. Hey, good morning. How are you? Fine.
It is. It's cold. It is. The girl.
I turned the air down. No, I just want to, it's just kind of stuffy.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're playing
Colder in a minute.
Westview.
Well, I'm a little hot right now, but it's just
How are you?
I'm still laughing back at the text.
That's the reason I got over here in the corner.
I'm sorry, Larry.
Are you warning me that?
Whatever we want to do.
Hey, hey, hey,
Are we ready?
I'm good, how you doing?
I started coming by to your dinner last night. We were going in town to eat. Well, you look like you were busy up there.
Yeah, we were doing some stuff. We're good. Doing what you go.
You make some headway up here.
Well, maybe some, I've helped, actually, we have buildings and everything. Local prices around there, it's quite small, but it's just
Sure, that's what I did. Let me just start over.
Oh, next Tuesday?
I know it's a right one. I'll check that.
I figured if you were coming in, yeah, I love my garage, I'm missing out here. Come back and well, the water's down, dude.
Almost finished. Go back to apparently, I may be having some issues. I didn't go back to
Good, how are you doing?
I'm gonna try it again.
This year I won't have.
Yeah, I don't have a blank sheet.
I don't know what happened. Well, from here, I don't
How you doing? You know, this is gonna be
That's
But I think it's gonna be more than that. Prices now.
He just said he didn't think anywhere to go.
Lady Smith, good to see you. We're not supposed to take in.
Now, they keep it up higher than it used to. Maybe on Twitch.
That ain't it.
They tell us the camera fee is gonna be like $4,000.
You'll only need over here. Just a second, I should get it.
Marianne stuck me with
We're a few seconds behind.
I'll make sure everybody has
That's true.
I saw like
That's
this
not
live.
recorded.
Yeah.
It'll show you later here in just a second. I just walked over here.
Yeah, more, it's probably about 15 or 18 seconds.
I knew it wouldn't go as easy as it got before it's supposed to. I'm gonna wait this out here just so anybody else need a copy of the budget, kind of keep it filled.
You got a,
I do, I just got I should wait on more.
they're on the corner.
They're not inside at the moment. That's one where the cameras at the house and garage. Had it set up right here where the refrigerator kept it there.
Well, actually, I stayed in Dyersburg and worked here. She came with the kids, and one of us, a friend yeah, I think most of the trip, we turned out off, so don't worry, there was a lot of times earlier.
I go straight to the
Like, since I walked in the door, I got this one box. It told me something happened here.
Oh, wow.
But it also, every time
Yeah, hold on.
he comes in and out of that garage door, he goes off.
It must be unit down.
Yeah, that's too much.
I think those are all. I think it's that, I think it's the,
Going on with building project?
I'm sorry.
When I dropped it, I was going back there.
I think it's the, let's see, I'm gonna get a bus this next week. And then I hang on off this spring. Probably
Or as Terry said, it could be staff. Good morning. Appreciate everybody that's coming, come to the meeting today. We want to try to get started. We've got a few people also joined us on Wiley's telecast here. And we want to really thank Wiley for getting this set up. That gives some people that weren't comfortable coming or just really didn't need to chance to see what, be sure they can attend. First thing we'd like to start off with is just we have some new owners within the community, and I don't think there's but possibly one Miss Spivey. We might want to go around the room and just introduce, because she's new here. There's actually 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units have either turned over or somebody has moved. We have, we'll do some introductions here, but we have an H5 new owners, Joshua and Ellen Adams, and H2, Hunter and Joyce Partee, and N1, Marshall and Robin Russell, E5, Scott and Lee Spivey, and C6, James and Addison Yarborough. And then in A1, former owners of N1 were Brad and Natalie Mitchell. They moved and bought A1 back early in 20. But if we could, maybe we'll just start with Ben and work our way around the room, and just everybody just say your name just so we can get some faces for everyone.
I'm Ben Shepherd. My wife is Jerry. She's watching it on the computer, I think, as we're here. And I live in D4.
I'm Wiley Street, and that is the better half, Penny Street, and we have Q1 and Q2.
Eddie Burks, A2, B3, A4, B5.
April Beasley, that's my husband Jeff, we're A5.
I'm Rusty Robinson, and if anybody doesn't know, and we're with A3. My wife Pam is, I think most everybody knows us, but anyway, it's JB.
JB Glass, I'm in E2, the first door on the left. Right away.
I'm Jane Garrett, we're in D6, and my husband's watching it on the internet.
I'm David Smith, this is my wife Nita, we're in D2, is that correct? At least I know where to go.
I'm Miss Spivey, we're in E5. My husband's home because he was watching a football game last night and told me just to take over. And we're from McKenzie.
I'm Jack Irvin, B1. This is my wife, Sue.
I'm Jeff Beasley, April's lesser half, I guess.
The worst half.
Dan Hieronymus, F4.
Donna and Jimmy Rainey, we're in D3.
Matt and Patty Kelly, E6.
I'm Terry McLeese, my wife's Ann, we're in C1.
Trevor Hurst, C3, Marianne didn't come again, so I guess I'll make everybody mad again.
Bob Seville, C4.
All righty, well, thank everybody for coming. And the ones that are watching virtually, we welcome you to the meeting. Next thing we need to get done is everyone was mailed a copy or emailed a copy of the 2019 meeting minutes. Could we entertain a motion to get unless there's any discussion on them, motion to approve the minutes for last year's annual meeting?
So much.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Okay. All right, we have one board member up, this year for re-election, or possibly anyone else that wanted to enter into election for board member. That's, I think we've got some proxies that have been sent in from outside. The only person that we have nominated to, which will remain on the board for another 5-year term, would be Eddie Burks. Is there any other nominations to be brought to the floor? Okay, we need a motion to, or do we need that?
Yeah,
I guess,
go through
okay,
the motions.
Well, could we get a motion to install Eddie Burks for another 5-year term on Pleasant Place Board?
I'll make the motion.
Bob Seville makes a motion, a second. Patty Kelly, second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, that takes care of Eddie. Office change, or what do you want to kind of just, I know we need to touch on some points. You may have a better idea of what people don't know about what's going on.
Yeah, and we may have covered this last year. What we want to throw out real quick is we have made some changes as far as paying bills and stuff. We are, Norma retired, who was our bookkeeper, and if I'm repeating what we said last year, just forgive me, but we brought on an accounting firm, and there were several advantages of doing that as opposed to bringing in another part-time bookkeeper. Overall, it was cheaper because we also moved out of the Buchanan Resort office, so we do not have that rent anymore, or the salary, and then the price for the I know April's the name, but what's the name of the place? Campbell.
Thurman Campbell.
Thurman Campbell.
Campbell.
Thurman
Sorry.
Campbell. Campbell is doing it. And of course, we've also, and again, this is probably from last year, but the official homeowner's office is now just right here next to the restroom. So that was really, didn't know if there was any.
What are the savings?
What are the savings? You know what, I looked at that, seemed like it was around a couple of $1,000s a year, was the savings. Do you remember, Ben?
Well, the office rent was
Something like that.
about over 4.
Yeah,
The normal salary.
Then you had Norma's salary kind of offset the cost with Thurman Campbell. They're charging us $400 a month to handle all billing, which we've had some bill paying and billing. We've had some little things to work through that's getting smoother all the time, but we were paying Norma $425, I believe, at the time she retired. So we reduced that. They also handling reports that we're paying another accounting firm to do as far as payroll goes. There were some monthly expenses for payroll reports and things like that. So it's a reasonable amount of money that it actually has.
we really only had 2 ads, was the accounting firm and then adding a monthly fee for internet.
So do we have something else in the professional fees? Because it's $10,000.
Yes.
Okay. What is that?
Well, we'll cover that when we get into the budget, but yes, there's another accounting review fee in there that is separate and apart from.
But the overall, I think we've about got things running fairly smoothly on the communication end with them. We're not as far along as I wish we were. We're not, you can't send them you can't send your money direct electronically in for payments now for any of your information. I'm handling all mail. I open everything, go through bills, send the bills to them that don't, even if they already get a copy sent to them. Your BPU bills get sent to them automatically. Well, I copy the original ones and send to them too, and basically approve everything, and then they issue payments. I'm doing deposits here at the moment for you too. But we're working through it, and it's it's going pretty good. I could gotta say we could improve on it, but I think we've come a pretty good ways from this time last year.
And actually, something else that Rusty just mentioned was another non-monetary benefit, but yet a benefit. Every single year, well, since I've been here, and when we got an accounting review, we always had an exception that showed up because Rusty was, in essence, approving the bill and signing the check. Now, we were going back behind, there were some checks and balances, but still, that's an accounting no-no, right? And so now that has been eliminated, where he now approves them, but now we have signing privileges up at Thompson Campbell, Thurman Campbell. I can't keep that in mind. So that was kind of a non-monetary benefit, but nonetheless a fairly significant benefit.
Any other questions concerning the office at the moment? Payments are still going to the 785 Buchanan Resort address. There's not been a change there. Anything that's addressed to, I think this is 130 Pleasant Place. Anything that's addressed to 130 Pleasant Place comes to me at the office too. And,
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
So is it law that we had to have that office? Who uses that office?
Well, Ben and Wiley are both in and out there a good bit. I don't know if April and Eddie occasionally come and go just to review books and see what's, anytime that your information's kept in there, your the owners, the owner's files are in there. You gotta have somewhere for all of that stuff.
Records and a computer.
Right.
But we have eliminated paperwork, not entirely, but instead of having a 5-foot tall stack of paperwork every year, now it's basically in a file folder. It's all on the computer.
Yeah. Everything's duplicated nowadays, now because of the scanning and the stuff, so you got it electronically in. That file folder laying on top of the counter right there, it's got your entire year in it.
And there seems to be a lot more checks and balances because the board members periodically look at QuickBooks and see that everything's balancing and everything that, all the checks that were written make sense and all of that, whereas before, when it was all done by hand, it was a lot harder to do that. Now we can go into this office and look at it any day we want to.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay. The next thing we had on our agenda was to talk about communication methods, and gosh, I can't tell you how thankful I am that particularly these two guys, not to take away from these two over here too, but they do so much on the back end of things, where your website is and all of the, scheduling the clubhouse rentals and things. But Ben and Wiley, I think, have done a great job, but they, one or both of them might want to speak in this area because I do absolutely nothing to help them right here. And so we really appreciate what's there. All your documents are available if you need them, if your bylaws or your amendments or whatever. You can get anything you want there that we have pretty much, except access to QuickBooks. But anyway.
Yeah. I mean, that's basically it. That's where our directory also resides. I know Ben's sent out several emails trying to encourage everybody to, sign into that. I think you put it in initially, but then you have to complete your own profile and get your own login and password in order to use it. But there's a bunch of stuff available there, as Rusty mentioned.
Basically, I go ahead and type in whatever information I have on you as far as your address, phone number, and your unit number, and then I send an invitation for you to join the website. All you've got to do is click on it that you want to join it, and then you have to go through 2 or 3 steps. And the one that most people seem to be missing is where you have to scroll all the way down to the bottom of the rules. and check a little box that says, I agree to these rules. And once you do that, you're on the website.
And basically, the rules say be nice. I mean, if you boil it down, that's what they say.
But it's not obvious that you have to do that.
Right.
Because where you check, you don't see until you scroll through a lot of stuff, and then it's down at the very bottom, you check that, and that's like the last step to get on the website. And once you're on the website, you'll be able to schedule the clubhouse and things like that just by clicking on the calendar. Click the day you want it, the times you want it. If you don't want it a whole day, you can just say, I need it for 4 hours or whatever. And then it automatically sends an email to me and Wiley, and either one of us can look at it, and if nobody else has that day already approved, then we'll approve it. And then also, we'll set up the lock to automatically use your code so you can get in on that day. And I think one time I forgot to set the lock for somebody. I think it might have been Patty. But anyway, I forgot to set the lock for them, and they got up here and it was locked, and they had to call me to get it unlocked. But I try to do it right then as soon as I approve it, so that I don't forget to set your lock up, because you can schedule the lock to open on a certain day, you know, for anytime in the next year or two, really. And so these locks are great for that. You don't have to fool with going to get a key, turn the key back in, or anything like that. And your code will never change. The code that you have for the clubhouse is the same as your code for the exercise room. It's just that the exercise room, you can get in anytime you want. But the clubhouse, you can only get in by scheduling it first. And so what I usually do is, if you have it scheduled for a Saturday, let's say, I'll set it so you can use your code like 9 o'clock on Friday night, in case you need to come in and put something in here. And then it'll be good all the next day, and then stop it like midnight on Saturday night. So you've got that whole day to use your lock code. And if you need it a little longer than that, just let me know and I can change it.
Ms. Jane?
Well, while we're talking about communications, my husband Chuck administers our Facebook page, and he typically only lets people join the private Facebook page if you're a resident of here. But he's got 7 names for requests that he doesn't recognize, and like, he doesn't matter if it's your adult child or somebody that wants to. So if anybody knows Sharon Ellis, Jamie and Kathy Metcalf, Bill Anderson, Allison Pate, Burton Douglas, Phyllis Peak, or Vivian Holtman, let us know so he can approve them.
I knew 1 or 2 of those names, but the one I know wouldn't have any reason other than just trying to cut well, just trying to be part of it. One of them's a maintenance guy for us. I guess he just thought, well, he would want to know what's.
Well, if somebody, that might not be a
But-
bad idea to let the maintenance man.
Well, let's wait. He's good. I mean, he's great, but I don't think there's really any reason for him to be involved.
Allison Payne's
Watching
in a
it.
house back over here too. But I wouldn't think there'd be any reason for her.
Any more discussion on communications, Dan?
Dan, you mentioned the code for the exercise room. I still have a key. Does that key work, or I just need to throw it away?
No, the key won't
Doesn't
work.
The key will not work.
I haven't been in there looked at it. Okay, thank you.
No, you have to use your code now. Yeah, Jeff's master key will work. If your code won't work, you can call Jeff and let him get you in with the master key, but your old key won't, it won't work.
So many codes.
So, question, you mentioned the directory, is that different from the one we used to have, the app? We have a different place for names and addresses and?
The directory, you mean?
Yes.
The directory on the website is kept up to date. Every time we get a new homeowner, that is updated, and, so you can always go to the website to get the very latest one. If you'd like a printout, well, you can download it and print it out yourself.
Print it out
If
from
you-
the website.
If you wanna contact me, I can get you a printout of it.
But it is on the website now. Okay.
Yes. And everybody, you might want to look at it and make sure that I've got the information on there that you want on there, and let me know if it's not correct. But what I put on there is what I've been given, and it's possible you've changed phone numbers or something I didn't know about it.
I'd just like to say, I got on it this week, you know, when you mail the stuff out, and I'm not one that gets on it very often. And I want to tell you how much I appreciate it, because it is excellent. Everything you would ever want to know is on that website. From the bylaws to who owns what condo, everything is on that website. It's amazing. We've never had that much information before, and I really want to tell you I appreciate it.
Well, that's where it's all come from, right
It's
here.
awesome.
Well, we kind of stumbled upon, or I stumbled upon it. That particular website is made specifically for homeowners associations. So it's got all the, it's really, when we looked at it, it had everything we needed, so.
It's awesome.
Yeah, it works real well. It was free up until September, and now they're charging us $97 a year. So it's still pretty cheap.
Yeah, that's, you know.
Yeah, well, to get your, say, some things come up from time to time, whether some of you know or not, if you refinance, because if there's a mortgage and rates are great, most of the stuff that people are gonna need is right there, and you can get it, direct. We get requests a lot of times for bylaws and things when things are going on, or if there's a sale going on. I'm not always real comfortable just taking some guy's call or a woman's call over the phone and that I've never heard of, and them saying, hey, we need bylaws because we're looking at, whatever condo. So, it's great if y'all could get familiar with it, because it's really, it helps the whole situation. It keeps our stuff private when it needs to be private, and available when it needs to be made available.
Because just anybody in the general public can't get to those documents. They can't see our directory. They can't see the bylaws or anything like that. You have to be a member of the website and have a password to get in.
If there's no more communication discussion. If there's not, we're down to a point where the membership committee report and discussion. You have anything to speak on, Patty, or about y'all's? We got a list of
Yeah, we made a list.
the list here.
I'd also like to say that I want to say how much I appreciate this board. I've been on a membership committee for several years. We got more accomplished last year than all the other years combined.
It was a
And
very,
that goes directly to the board.
very good year.
Appreciate
The
that.
people pushing these projects back here really made a difference. I think the place looks better than it's looked in a long, long
I
time,
agree.
and I'm happy with. Really appreciate all the help, because we're just at a point we need to do some things, and there's a couple of things on these lists that umbrellas, for instance, and pool furniture and things that we would probably gone ahead and pushed for a little harder this year. I know they were in bad shape, but with pandemic issues and things, a lot of things got, delayed. Do y'all want to go over this list specifically, or has everybody's gotten a copy of this stuff?
I
Correct?
can say
Okay.
I think the copy of the membership committee report was included in the packet that we sent out that had the agenda. Now, I think there were
a couple things
There
just
was a
added.
couple of things added.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One was a parking lot issue on H building, Mr. Brown brought up again. That's been an old issue over there. The concrete is, it's got a sag in it, and just holds water. We've looked at patch compounds different things. Nothing's ever been done. He's requesting that we look back into getting something done there.
Yeah.
And rightly so. The other one was concerning, I believe it's probably, I didn't know specifically, but I bet it's this sidewalk here by the gazebo. JB, was that what y'all's talk about, the busted sidewalk?
We did, but
That's
there is a
the
real.
date.
Or is it-
No, it's in front of D3, in front
Oh.
of Donna and Jimmy's place.
I was gonna say, I knew it was another concrete
Right.
issue.
We got
One
an,
right at that gazebo.
we
right
got an
there.
issue right here too, that it's the pine tree pushing the walk up, and I don't know, but we're gonna need to do something about that, and a broken piece over by F building, a little bit of concrete work. This one's getting pretty bad here, just making the turn going down to the dock, I know.
April, and I can tell you the place over, it affects H6 parking over there too, but there'll be an inch and a half or 2 inches of water that just puddles up there when it rains heavy. You can't walk out there without getting your feet wet if you don't have some rubber boots on.
And it's been brought to our attention multiple times, and I've had about 3 different concrete people come over and look at it and talk about grooving it and this and that, and making ways for it to drain. And I've yet to have anybody show back up to do any work, but I can't say that I've been staying on top of it at all. It's not been something that I've pushed hard for, I gotta admit that, but I have grooving or filling is what's been suggested, short of just busting it out and repouring it. I don't think that's, there's probably, I know we've got some people within the association here that might know a lot more about what might work and hold than I do. So if you got some suggestions or something, if you wouldn't mind reaching out, I might, something needs to be done there for sure. The other stuff just is a matter of fixing some busted pieces in sidewalks, what it boils down to, other than this tree root here. What we'll do about that.
On the day building, walking in, it's separated that much, it's a big crack. And I think it looks like it's been repaired at some point, but just didn't maybe hold.
Right.
Jeff repaired it about 5 or 6 years ago. but
Okay. Just kind of a
Just to
patchwork.
he filled the crack.
It's a pretty decent sized gap right there.
It needs to be fixed better, that's for sure.
Anything else on the report that you'd like to speak with directly today? It was good to see the list being a lot shorter. And we've had a lot of help getting there, I tell you, I have. I've had help.
Rusty, ever gone over to look at Lowe's sidewalk I mentioned to you?
I haven't been.
It's all washed out.
I haven't been again since we've talked, but yes, sir, I have, and Ben and I have looked at it. I think Ben's looked at it as well underneath those.
Yeah.
What we got is an issue that's similar to what happened on E building right here, Mr. Ellinger's unit, and now his daughter, Lisa. Is just the bank is eroding back up underneath the sidewalk and the support for the bridge and the landing of the stairs. And so that is probably the next worst one the next one we've got to do to address some reinforcement of some sort. But
that list being so short, again, this is all the work that they put in. I mean,
It
Ben,
is.
we can't thank you enough for all the work you did on the locks and
Oh, yeah.
April on the shutters and everything. I mean, y'all just did.
they
And now on the, which we're gonna discuss in a little bit, but on the handrails.
got a rail project
Yeah.
finally going. And it wouldn't got done if it hadn't been for all
They've
these
done a
folks
great
at all. No way.
Well, one other thing related to the handrail, we need to hold off on building B until we get the stair going up to B6 repaired. We've got the stair stringer of the main support beam going up to D6 has got a pretty good size split in it. And I know that Scarboroughs are concerned about it. And we are too, but we just need to get somebody to look at it and figure out a way to repair it. But that's something we got coming up pretty soon that we need to get fixed.
All right.
But before we enter into the budget, for our live streamers, if you wouldn't mind, take just a second and you can just say hi or whatever in the chat. That way we can kind of have a record of who's watching through the live stream. We have had a couple of comments through there. The Lander Homes kind of echoed what was being said about things looking better and being good. Lanny Oaks echoed that same comment. So if you're on the live stream, if you would just let us know you're watching. Just do a quick chat, and I'm trying to monitor and listen at the same time. So.
All right. If there's not any further discussion, we'd take a look at the budget, if you would. The proposed budget is based on the same quarterly fees that were in place this year. Just as an overview of things, we've kind of gotten over the hump on getting all the renovations taken care of. We've accomplished a good bit. We spent a lot of money. A lot of money that was saved up over a few years, and it's getting time to put some back into our reserve again. The budget we've brought to you this year, I think, will work. Be able to begin to build our reserves back up a little bit again. If anybody doesn't know, we put a roof this year on H building. Also bought a golf cart for maintenance. So those two kind of capital items have been paid for out of your operating budget right now today. There's not been any money pulled from your reserve since last December when we were having to pay for renovations, and we just depleted our money. But there's been no additions to reserve. There's been no deductions. There's been a little bit addition of interest. We got a few dollars a month. But we are trying to ride this out through the end of the year and operate just as lean as we can to try not to have to pull. We're possibly going to have to pull a little money out of reserve, just so you know, before the end of the year, but it was in our budget. But so far, we haven't. We can go through this, starting up at the top of it, just to be orderly, and if you got any questions up in the upper area where the expenses for automobile and report and donations, I think the first thing that jumps up to any amount to any money gets in the equipment and insurance area. Would that open up any questions you might have up in that top section? We do have a different insurance carrier. West Bend is our insurance company now. Our agent's still Taggart and Pennington from Dyersburg. If anybody doesn't know, the Penningtons are homeowners here as well, so they've got a vested interest on both sides of things to make sure we get a good policy. We were with Berkshire Hathaway, and their renewal was extremely high, and they shopped this pretty heavily. The one big distinction that we made in order to get this money, this number's down a little bit from last year, I think, just a little bit, but we don't have any earthquake coverage on these buildings. And we looked into this extensively. We did have on the previous policy, but the earthquake coverage was upwards of
$6,000.
It saved us over, I was thinking at least six, a little bit, but saved us several $1,000s on coverage. The big kicker, and the reason that the board went the way we did, and we reached out to some other members here and asked opinions and questions, but the reason that we decided to go ahead and drop the earthquake coverage was basically the policy, the way it's written, the first 15% of the damage due to earthquake per building per occurrence. So a three-story building cost $150,000 deductible before they paid anything as far as earthquake coverage. So we chose to drop that, and Ben, if anybody's got questions, I'll probably need to let somebody that's more qualified answer them from that point forward, but you do need to be aware of that.
Well, earthquakes don't do a tremendous amount of damage to small buildings like we have here. Not $150,000 deductible worth. You know, any cracks that we might get, we may as well pay for it ourselves, because we gotta pay the first $150,000 anyway. And, you know, earthquakes more affect tall buildings that sway from the vibration. And there'd be very little damage to a one-story building like this clubhouse, even with a very large earthquake. Now, the three-story buildings, of course, would be taller, so they would be expected to get more damage. But if we got an earthquake big enough to do some major damage to these three-story buildings, then all of the cities here would be flattened. So there'd be a lot more problems in our community than just what damage we got. And in my opinion, if you had something that big of a catastrophe, then we would get some help from the government, you know, on disaster relief. So to me, spending the extra money for the earthquake coverage is just throwing the money away. But that's just my own personal opinion on it. You know, obviously it gives you some coverage, but if with the deductible being as high as they have it, I can't see it ever helping us, because we don't have enough in reserves to even pay the deductible. So what's the point of it? Dan, Jim?
What was our premium last year, or this year?
I think it's 23,000 premium, and but with the earthquake, it was up almost 30,000.
Why does it keep going up that much? I mean, I just don't, I don't do insurance, I don't know.
I guess we have an insurance agent in here, but from my perspective, it's going up. I don't know. I ask them the same question. It goes up every year. I feel
5 years ago.
Yeah, insurance is really a big part of mine's gone up. I mean, and way more than I wanted it to. Yeah. And I don't know that a person can have enough insurance when it really comes down to it. It's just we put together the best policy we thought we could find with everybody's help that we asked. Everybody that we asked, you know, was helpful too. And if there's anything that concerns you about it, you know, we were welcome to hear it. But that was our reasoning behind the change and dropping that coverage. If there's no more insurance questions, the lawn care section, that's going to cover of course, your mowing, shrub care and replacement, lawn spraying, weed control. We plan to continue with Turner Lawn Care at this point. We've had, you know, very good, they give us very good attention, I feel like, and real conscientious about what they do. If there's anything anybody wants us to stress towards, they wished it was done differently, I'd be glad to, you know, we'd be glad to hear. The next section down there, our license and permits, that's your pool permit primarily, maybe totally. The maintenance is for building washing, is that right? Mm-hmm. And then which is about to begin. The J&J cleaning's getting ready to come in. They contacted me a few days back, said they're ready to start washing all the buildings on the property. So you'll see some cleaning beginning to go on, and Jeff's, we'll need to be sure things on your front porch and stuff when we get to your building. There's always a little putting away that needs to be done so they can, you know, clean your buildings properly, but that's begun, or getting about to begin.
Do they do the front porch, not the back porches?
They do all the exterior, which includes, yes sir, your front porch. Of course, you know, just work on the outside of screen porched areas, and they don't go up under your patio porch at all, not your back, what I call back porch. They don't go up under there, they just wash the exterior around it, so. Next item, manager services, that is reflecting me, what I get for doing the things I do. I appreciate that. I'm happy to do what I'm doing. We're also always open up for, I bring this up every year, if there's somebody, a member here that's got a lot of time and gonna be around here and interested in getting more involved, there's room for more help in this group. There's plenty of room for more help. So just, and we like the there's a lot of people out there that might really be a lot better at what goes on than what I do, but we could always entertain some more. The printing, I guess the next thing that's going to come up is this printing and reproduction. We threw $1,000 number up there, which we may or may not spend, but I guess I need to take a few questions if there are any, or tell you what's going on and why that money is there. That was put in place because the resort is had to take a stronger stand in general from outside traffic coming and going into this property. And that money is actually for possibility of buying stickers for your vehicles, because we're going to have a better system up and down the road, we hope, here coming into the next season. And this might expedite people getting through a checkpoint coming and going, basically. I'm sorry if it's delayed people this summer at times coming down this road. I know it gets busy and traffic gets backed up, but we've just got too many folks coming and going down here that really don't need to be here, as congested and busy as this entire area is. So my plan is, if you haven't noticed, behind our sign at the top of the hill, there's a mobile home that was sitting parallel to the road that's been moved. We're going to build a good, nice, wide turnaround area that people that aren't actually supposed to come in here, or just misdirected or whatever, can make a turn and go back out onto Lakeview Drive on the other side, kind of facing the ice machine over there on the lower side of my sign. So it'll be just a horseshoe turnaround. We're going to put a shack, if you would. We're going to put a building there that we can put an employee like Ray has worked that road all summer, but where we can get him in some shade and in some air conditioning if he needs it. Our security people will be able to use it at night if need be up there. We're not putting a gate up. I mean, I don't want to insinuate we're putting a gate up. What we're trying to do is just be able to control the road when we need to. The next thing that in my mind that we would do after that is possibly at some point put a half gate up is a possibility, like we do at the last speed bump at the resort, which allows you to drive around it, but it also indicates that, hey, they're closed and I don't need to drive in there. There are people trying to sleep. It's after hours. I don't think we would do that right away. But that's kind of the progression that I'm thinking. I don't know that a gate with buttons and codes and all this stuff opening and closing every time you go through is ever going to be the solution here, but we can control this road to the top of the hill. The resort has control of that road up there, and so we're going to try this, but anyway.
Is it traffic control? Is it looky-loo? What are you trying to stop?
Well, basically a lot of riding around and, like you say, looky-loo traffic. With the oak tree being closed, it changed the dynamics of the property a lot last year on my side of things. There's a lot of people that come and go down here that are just day-to-day customers, but once you take the food business out of the situation here, then you get to looking around and you can thin out a whole lot more of them. And basically, what's been going on is we've been supplying free parking and a place to launch your boat for years and years down here for the general public. And I'm also doing some infrastructure changes at the resort, I'm tearing out the old steep dilapidated ramp down there beside our launching ramp and putting in a new double wide loading ramp there too. Well, that's not to let the general public come in on a busy weekend and use it. It's for y'all's benefit and for the resort customers' benefit to use, and for the neighbors back here that live on our end of the road to use. If it's slow during the week, I don't care for people coming in here and fishing out here. I don't want to run people totally off. We don't want to turn away the general public completely, but you'd be surprised at the amount of, for lack of a better word, just riffraff that tries to get in here, and some of them you just don't want them in here. And it's just come to that point, and it kind of became evident to us in the spring when things had to be closed and had to be locked down that we needed a way to have better control. And once we do determine that they really didn't know, but they really didn't need to come in here anyway, they need a place to turn around. So that's kind of what we're after. And instead, they were either driving through my driveway, or they were coming down into the resort, or coming over here. You know, I would do that traffic control if I could at this last speed bump. But you know what happens? They all blow in here and turn around on y'all, and you know, we can't do that to you. And so that's in a nutshell what we're after. We'll try to make it, because I've got to make this right up there. I'm making a road into my trailer park, which could turn into a disaster. So it's going to be rough. It's going to be lined with trees and a fence and fixed where it's, you know, it's very obvious what it's for, and you can pull in there with a boat and trailer or a camper and a trailer or whatever and get turned around and go a different direction if you need to.
Is the solution still gonna be, you know, I got friends and family come up here once or twice a year. Hey, I'm staying at Trevor's.
Yeah. Solution's simple right now.
Okay.
And we
But
keep.
basically, when Rusty explained all this to us, the boards, we just suggested that there might, you know, he's concerned too about high traffic times and traffic stacking up and back out on the Lakeview Drive. And so the suggestion was made, and this is why this line item's in here, to purchase stickers that would stick in your windshield on your lower driver's side, which basically identified you as a homeowner here at Pleasant Place, and to furnish 2 of those per unit, and then make available for purchase anything above that. So that when you came in, the guard at the guard shack will see that, and they'll wave you right on through. I mean, you won't even have to stop or anything, because when they see that, they'll wave you right on through. The other thing is, where you have people who are coming to visit you, as you mentioned, then what's being suggested is that there is a tag that hangs on your rearview mirror, which has a place to put your name on there and the period of time that you are going to be visiting here, the dates, and you hang that on your mirror so that identifies you as a guest that has the authorization to be here and be visiting whoever they're visiting.
How do we get that to that person though?
The guard shack.
Oh, it's at the guard shack, okay.
Right.
Yeah, we'll kind
We're
of.
working
And that's
through
in
a lot of
the future.
this,
We
but
haven't got all those
you get the
decisions
idea.
made, but they'll.
I got you.
For the biggest thing for now, we did just put a little money there, just in the event that we needed to do what we're describing. But we just don't want to inconvenience y'all any more than necessary. But to be able to walk out our front door at the office on Memorial Weekend or 4th of July weekend and not worry about being terrified about getting run over has made my life a lot easier. I hope it's helped over here. I don't know, because I'm not here when it's busy.
It helps a lot.
I don't live within the community in here to know. And but I know it made a lot of difference with us. But I appreciate your comment.
Well, I like the idea that if a car's back in here, they're either gonna have the windshield
You'll know
tag that
they're-
says
yeah.
they live here, or they're gonna have a hang tag that says they're visiting somebody. You know, cars pull up here and jump out and go to the pool and you don't know who you're with.
Exactly.
It's just,
That's
yeah.
happened.
We took that discussion one step further, and we're not exactly ready to implement that just yet, because we need to talk about it some more, but also doing something similar for golf carts. Instead of just depending on folks to put their unit numbers on there, which is supposed to let us know that they belong in here, you'd actually have to have a golf cart sticker on there that would indicate that it belonged here.
You know, just take something that's bright colored and very small, that's just in there. Everybody put it in the same place as the key.
Yeah.
If it's the right hand, lower right hand, or lower left hand, whatever it is, but we get that and we can spot it way off, and it'll color change every year, just like going back to college. It's like a parking pass, but, if there's any further questions on that, or,
We did get a question over the live stream about when would that start?
once the season comes into play, I mean, I don't see.
No, I mean, are we like talking Memorial Day weekend?
Oh, yeah. We'll be, my plans, as far as getting our end of things done, we're gonna start pulling pine tree or two out of the ground pretty quick. As soon as Kenny's, the guy with the track hole that's putting the bedrock in for the new boat ramp, we'll take some trees out up there and prepare that road through, and we'll do that this fall. And so the turnaround will go into place, and then I gotta find a building. I gotta buy a little building of some sort to put up there and get a little plumbing put in that, so they've got a restroom and things. We'll have some, and also, in case you know too, from a security standpoint, I did a big upgrade this year on our video camera systems around too. So these people that are watching they're Jackie and Tom that are patrolling at night, they've got access to my cameras and stuff on their phones, and they can watch what's going on. And when we put that building up there, I'm gonna put a battery of cameras in that building. We're gonna know who's coming and going through here. If they blow through here, hopefully we can identify who they are if they're a problem. But anyway.
And that being said, I know I'm fixing to skip down several items, but this is in connection with it, so might as well. Rusty did not ask for, I want to preface this, Rusty did not ask for this, okay? When we got down to this item, we thought it was only fair that we upped our security budget a little bit, who we actually pay to Buchanan Resort as it is, because there will be a semi-full-time person now, kind of guarding all entrances. So we decided it was only fair for us to do our part, and so we upped it from $6,000 a year to $8,000 a year. So
That was from,
No,
was
we went
from
from 2
4
to
something.
6.
It was a little.
from 4 to 6. I'm sorry.
Went from 1,500 a quarter, it was 11 something.
Yeah.
I believe.
It was like 1120 or something like that.
But that was proposed, and I
I just,
appreciate it.
no, I don't have a question, but I just wanted to say I really appreciate the security you've got now and then what you're planning to put in. Because, early Sunday morning, Labor Day, Sunday morning at 1:15, I left here to take my husband to the Henry County Hospital with a kidney stone. And, I was in the parking lot till 4:30 of the hospital. Then they sent me back here, so I got back here about 5 by myself from the hospital, 5 in the morning. And when I got here, I mean, I could just feel I just felt secure once I got this close, and I appreciated that. And then found out later that we had, gentlemen going back and forth and checking it. But I've already felt, just coming up here by myself at different times, the security already that you all put in. So I really appreciate what's coming in the future.
Well,
I know many of you all remember, we've had discussions over past years about putting gates in up here, putting some type of method of restricting the traffic down this road where the condos are. And when you think about what Rusty's getting ready to undertake, it basically negates the necessity for doing that in the future, which would be Now, we have never decided to do it. We have wanted it. There's a lot of people that wanted to do it, and as you well know, that would be quite an expenditure. So, you know, I applaud what Rusty's doing. I know he didn't undertake this, for the association, but he also knew the association would benefit from it also.
Yep.
So I applaud what he's doing, appreciate that. I do think that, as Wiley pointed out, it's only fair and right for us to up our contribution toward that endeavor, because it's gonna, you know, what we're upping it is just a drop in the bucket compared to what he's getting ready to spend to make this happen. So I hope everybody feels pretty good about it. I know I do.
Thank you, Ed. Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
That was the printing.
That would take care of the printing and reproduction and the security area down there. The next item we've got is professional fees, which is involves bookkeeping, 40 to the 4,800. About half of that goes to Thurman Campbell. Part of that goes to the annual, is it review the proper word?
Yep.
Okay. Of the annual review of the books and the payment methods that we use.
And that's, yeah, that makes up the 6650, those two items.
Who's doing the review? A different firm?
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
That's fine, that's fine.
ATA, I think. Is that right?
I think that's.
I'm sorry.
Is it
I'd have to
ATA?
look.
ATA?
Yes.
Did the review?
Yes. And I can't remember what the AT is.
Alexander Thompson.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Arnold.
Yeah.
Actually, the last one we had was one of our new homeowners' daughter performed it for that company, the Russells here. Their daughter's the one that did the last one. I'm guessing we'll do the next one because we'd had the same lady with them for years, and they got a new person. So, property taxes. $5,200. I don't think that's gonna, we still haven't got notices yet. There's something in the paper about them being a little bit delayed, but that should come anytime. The repairs budget, that's, I hope, enough to take care of the odd and end things. Jeff and Justin are doing the, you know, as much repair work as we can get them to do without having a contract. You can't contract much for $10,000. Y'all know that. But with between them and some of the skill sets they got, I feel like we're getting more and more done all the time. But there's plenty to do.
Yeah, we've got 6,000 that's we designated for, and this rail thing is two phases. Well, we're doing some handrails out of this year's budget, and then we're going to do the rest that we need to do out of next year's budget. So that covers 6,000 for the rails and installation, and then the 4,000 covers any of the other repairs.
And incidentally, if any of you haven't looked at the one handrail we've already installed, it's the one going up to Chuck and Jane's unit D6. And
Which unit?
D6.
D6.
You can look at an installed handrail there. They're all aluminum handrails. We're just buying the materials, and Jeff is installing them. The materials are expensive. It's about $1 an inch. So each handrail is roughly $500 in material. But Jeff is installing them, and so we're not having to pay anything for installation.
That was, you really appreciate Ben locating these rails, because some of the prefab stuff that I'd seen wasn't very appealing at all, and we'd had two different people look at fabricating things for us that I don't think was going to wind up and look as nice as what you were able to
No, they
locate
were
and source
cheaper
for us.
looking, and they were going to cost over twice as much.
Yeah.
And going with this system, it's just kind of a snap together system. And it took Jeff about 2 hours to put that first one up. So we've got 7 more to put up this fall. So, in a couple of days, well, he can't stay on it all day, but I'd say within a week, he can put them up, so.
Well, we very much appreciate it. Thank you.
So they will all eventually be replaced, is that what we're saying?
Just where they don't meet code. Like, the buildings over here meet code. They've got the handrail on top of the guardrail. H and G and F building, and even A building has a little rail on top. Those are the right height over there. A building is a little too tall. For whatever reason, it was installed about 6 inches too tall. So the person has to hold their hands up like this to go up to April and Jeff's place. So it's
good for me.
So our plans are this year is to do B through E, because they're the ones that are the most dangerous. And then next year, we'll try to do the ones going down. We're just doing the ones going up now because that's the most dangerous. And then next year, hopes are to do the ones going down to the lower floor and also do A building. But we don't feel that H and F, G, and H need it because they've got the rail 36 inches above the stair now, which is code.
Probably a good time to point out too, because you're looking at the 21 budget and it's showing a net income profit. That was purposely done that way. We actually are going to show that much of a deficit in this year's budget in order to go ahead and do the handrails before this year end. And then we'll take the profit and replace those funds from next year's budget. But we wanted to get it done because, one, we think it's urgent to go ahead and get it done. And the second thing, Ben's going to be here to help oversee it before he goes to work.
Good idea.
So that's it.
Jeff does it. I just stand back and say, put this part here and this part here, and he does it. But it's basically, we're looking at about $4,000 we've already spent for all this stuff here, and about $4,000 again next year. And that should make going up and down those stairs a lot safer.
Yeah, basically, if it doesn't have a grab rail of some sort, we need to have a grab rail.
Ben, why don't you tell me exactly what the code calls for?
Well, the code requires a rail, it can be anywhere between 34 inches and 38 inches above the step. And so we just, typically you shoot for 36 inches, and if you install it, it winds up being a ½ inch low or high, you're still within code and you're fine. But on a residential building, you're required to have a rail on one side of the stair. And so that's what we're putting in. There is a gray area, I'll tell you, as when you get it into a 3-story, what they call a multifamily, then it's considered a commercial building. Commercial building, you have to have a handrail on both sides. But since the stairs going up are only servicing one homeowner, we feel like that it should be considered residential. Multifamily means that these stairs are used by several families going up and down. They have to meet each other. You got somebody going up, somebody going down, and not the same family. That's the idea behind having a rail on both sides. But in our case, we feel like that we are meeting the code of the rail just on one side.
And with these being up to code, that really protects us from future liability.
From people falling and liability, at least you're meeting the code. You still can have a liability problem, but they can't claim that it's your fault that you didn't have that grab rail there to hold on to.
That's part of the reason for going ahead and getting it done this fall before the end of the year, instead of waiting until after next spring.
Absolutely.
Any more questions? Brings us to the salaries area, which is Jeff and Justin, your maintenance people's pay for next year. You wanna tell us what that is?
Yeah, what we're proposing in this budget is that we increase Jeff's salary by $25 a week, which would take him from $800 to $825, and that we increase Justin's salary, he's hourly, increase Justin's salary by 25 cents an hour, taking from $9.50 to $9.75.
Is there any questions or anybody like that? Those pay raises go into effect in the second quarter
Right.
of 2021. If you choose to pass this, but we will need a motion for the raises at this time, or any discussion that you'd like to have. But it starts in beginning of the second quarter, and we'll carry forward from there. Can I get a motion Dan made a motion to approve the projected raises. Any second? Ms. James, second. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. One other thing I'll mention right now, and it's a little while before that, is that every year, many of you give Jeff and Justin something for Christmas, out of, thanks for them doing a good job. Hopefully you're happy with what they do. But if you choose to do that, they greatly appreciate it. Some of you want to do it directly, that's fine. Many of you aren't here when that time of year rolls around. So in the past, what we've done is we'll send a reminder when maybe the 1st of December or something, we'll get an email or something out, or middle of December, I don't know when would be best, but we'll send a reminder. And if you wanted to send a payment or send a check made out to them, or if you want to send a check and you want me to cash it, in the past we had them made out to Norma, and I'm sitting here trying to remember. Last year, I think everybody just made checks direct to Jeff and Justin, and that's just the way to do it. We just try to keep it out of the association books because they take taxes out of it, and we give them $100, a little bit of a gift from the association that is taxable, that's noted on the books. But they do appreciate that, and I appreciate them. I'm glad we've got somebody that shows up for work every day. I'll just tell you that.
What is their last names?
Jeff Malin, M-A-L-I-N, and Justin Herndon, H-E-R-N-D-O-N. And Jeff, if any other, you sent an email with Jeff's new phone number to everybody, didn't you? Notice? Okay. He does. If you didn't change his phone number in your phone, be sure and that you do. Jeff's got a new contact number if you need to get a hold of him.
You may have that real quick.
Yeah. And if you need something directly, he'll respond to the text message. Of course, you can text anyone that doesn't have mine. It's 336-8736. But you can text me or email me or whatever you.
Spell Jeff's last name for me again.
M-A-L-I-N.
What's the new phone number again? I'm sorry.
336-4773. And many of you already use it, but as far as maintenance requests and stuff, little admin things that something's wrong, that a place that they hit on a regular basis every week, and you just want to point out to them, it's fine. But on the website too, there's a maintenance request form that many of you have used already. And I just want to remind you it's there. If you got something that needs to be discussed, I know Trevor, y'all have used that, and I don't know that anything's accomplished yet, but I do think Jeff's communicated with you a little bit on it. So, but it's working pretty good. And then that gets forwarded to me. I'll give it to Jeff, and I'll try to respond. I'm trying to be make everybody on the board aware kind of where we're at with things, if I remember to put reply all on there, but,
We don't want the biannual scaffolding.
yeah,
Let's see.
right, yeah. Yeah, that,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
But it does work smoothly. If you fill that form out,
Yeah,
it's more likely to get attention
yeah.
than just doing something verbally. Because then you've got it in writing that you requested it, and the board will know about it and all that too, so. It'll get better attention if you fill out the form.
Yeah, the more, the more we're trying to get this group of 5, knowing everything that's going on, that's what we're after here. We're trying to, we discussed several ways to keep, everybody more informed than just somebody passing something along to me on a sheet of paper and not knowing what happened from that point forward if nothing got done. And, so. That's down to supplies. Though that column, $3,500, includes your grill and pool supplies. Some grills. Each year we wind up having to buy, some grills for the gazebos, but that encompasses things of that nature. The money to reserve, the $8,000, it's indicated on your quarterly billing, for $30 for a 2-bedroom unit and $40 for a 3-bedroom unit. That is where we hope to begin to grow a reserve fund again next year. It's been in every budget here lately that we've had, but there's not a whole lot of benefit in putting it in there and pulling it right back out. We've not been able to fulfill that part of the budget, but I do think with what we've got here, without a disaster of some sort we're not knowing about next year, I think we'll be able to manage that just fine.
What's our balance in that now?
Right now, you're 38.
38,667.73.
We were at just under 96, I think, last year before we started all the renovations. So roughly, we spent roughly 60 of what was there on what we did over the past 18 months, and which is, when you think back, that's some roofs and that's a lot of stuff that happened in that, within the operating budget and that reserve. So, but we need to build it back up. We know that. The next item, utilities, that is electric, water, sewer, cable, internet and phone service for this building. The reason for the phone service is because of the pool. It's the state requirement there. There's phone out here. If you needed to get to it and couldn't get phone service, we've got a hard line of phone out here for safety reasons and requirement from the state.
I had no idea. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Well, it's been there a long time, and it just gets over. You just don't even notice it being there.
It's on outside?
It's right outside, right outside. But it's probably not something that ever come into play, given that everybody's pretty well got cell phones and things. But it is there. I've got one over by our pool too. If you're ever over there in the corner. It's the oak tree number, if you ever want to call it. That's what it is. It's the only thing that's been good for this year. So, any questions in the utilities area? Any discussion? Anything else?
Motion to approve.
Could we get a motion to approve the?
Well,
2020
we did
budget.
mention that we're not going up on our maintenance fees.
Yes, right. There will be 3-bedroom units. The proposed budget is $1,025 per quarter, which is $40 of that is dedicated reserve money in this $8,000, and the 2-bedroom is $800, which has a $30 reserve allocation in it.
And we did do some discussion about whether to raise it a little bit in order to get our reserves back up quicker. But we felt like since the maintenance fees were raised last year, that y'all would prefer to leave them the same. But that's open to discussion, you know, because we do need to get our reserves built back up. And obviously, the more extra money we have, the quicker they'll go back up. But we, what the board discussed was we think that even leaving them the same, we'll be able to put extra money in reserves next year because we don't anticipate any big expenses.
Well, if there's no other questions or discussion, could we get a motion to approve the 2021 budget?
So moved.
Is there a second? Dan? All in favor of the proposed 2021 budget, would you please say aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
So moved.
That's it.
On that budget issue, in the years past, we've had a study or a proposed study done to see what our anticipated cost would be. Did we ever finish that, or where are we at with that?
No, sir. We're basically at a standstill. It's still on our agenda to do. It needed to have been entered into in the beginning of the year. This year was kind of the plan in the first quarter to get it going. COVID, basically, that's my excuse today.
That'll work for a while.
It is something though, but the group here, so you know, feels very strongly that it's necessary to be done, and it is planned to be done. But we
Pretty sure that if they looked at it right now, they jump all over us by having too low of a reserve.
Yeah,
so not a whole lot of point doing it right now. We know what the answer would be.
Yeah, we're not going to satisfy what a study would do, but that's not really any excuse. But we do. I feel very good about what we're bringing to you right now, short of some surprises. I really do. Is there any other discussion? Anybody got anything else?
I have a
to say?
question.
Yes,
Is the
ma'am.
gate code gonna be fixed?
What
Going
is
down to the dog.
Going down to the dock.
It was working as far as I was aware of.
I mean, you just have to press one number now.
Any
Okay.
number in, any number and it
Right,
opens.
yeah, we'll switch, I'll see if I've got a lock I can switch out on that for you, yeah. You got it.
Here's the only, you know, we get to all this real key back here. When you drive out, you see all the stuff by Jeff's
Mhm.
main building. Can we either put a fence there to hide that cover, all that garbage back there? Or,
A lot of it just needs to be gone, and I'll
I
get,
mean, all those
Yes.
things should be put in a pickup truck and taken to,
yeah, to landfill.
no,
or
take it
salvage.
to,
Scrap metal.
Copeland's.
Yeah,
Oh,
basically, yeah.
Get your money for all that, you won't get much, but you're gonna get some money, because you have 25 rules back.
Yeah, it needs to be gone, and honestly, it looks bad, and out of respect for the.
Come this way, don't fit, but when you go out, that's the first thing you see.
Mhm. And the Wilsons are sitting there looking at it in their backyard too, and, so.
And then the other thing is, the tennis courts that we are responsible for,
Mhm.
are we gonna do anything with those?
I've been watching them and waiting for somebody to decide it's time to spend some money on them, but yeah, they're due for repainting and redoing sometimes.
Yeah, I think they look terrible, nobody ever uses them.
Mhm.
My kids do occasionally.
Yeah, I see a,
Like that basketball goal even more, I don't know who put that in there.
right. And the basketball goal, I think, like you say, has got a little more attention than anything. The worst thing about a basketball goal, sometimes a little foul language runs around a basketball court, but but other than that, but they do look bad, I agree. I've been looking at them for going on the third year now, thinking we're gonna have one of these days, but, I'm ready when y'all are ready, but.
What does it cost to resurface?
I'd have to look back. I'm gonna say the last time we did that, it's been a number of years ago, but, it's probably somewhere between $7,000 and $10,000.
I was gonna say it's
Like
10
that.
grand and we
Yeah.
did it 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. You know, I was thinking we spent about $5 apiece on it.
But I kinda agree with Bob, I mean,
Yeah,
it's an eyesore, even if it's not used, we need to do it.
yeah, yeah. But we can do it. I mean, I can.
And the other thing is, at tennis courts, and a lot of old people don't play tennis over there, they play that,
Pickleball?
Pickleball.
Pickleball.
If how much more it would take to strike that for a tennis court and pickleball.
They do both. Do they use the net for pickleball
Yeah.
too? It's just striped different.
I think it's
like-
lower.
okay.
It's
Right.
I
maybe
think it's
a lower
2
net.
stripes.
Right.
And it's about half the size of the tennis court.
I
And I don't know if you can do that, I'm just saying,
Well, I
I know
imagine
a lot of
so.
old farms in Arizona, we are, and they don't play tennis anymore, they play that also, I mean, it's real big,
Right.
real big.
It is what we're doing.
Anything that would add another activity you could do, I mean, it's a plus for the value of the property. You know, and I know what you're talking about is strictly your property values. It does deteriorate right now from it, but that could be done. I mean, we can, you know, we can try to schedule something in the spring for the courts if that's something we want to talk about right now or talk about later. But I'm open to it whenever.
And the other thing about the tennis courts is, you know, when it rains, no matter what you do out there, those tennis courts are not gonna be flat. All right, it rains, the water sits there, and that's what causes all this black stuff. The tennis courts, we maintain in Arizona, and the ones I used to maintain in Chicago, we had to squeegee that water off.
Yeah, that's why they look like they do now, because it's not getting done. And I don't know how you're gonna accomplish that, honestly.
I don't know either,
Well,
I'm just saying that's what's causing a lot.
It's, yeah. And all, biggest part of it, yeah.
Chuck sends a comment, make one a tennis court, the other one a pickleball court.
One of each, yeah.
I like to use one of them a basketball, but that's
I
just
think
me.
I think they, and I'm speaking from the fact that one of those courts is the resorts and one's y'all's.
Right.
But I think they need to be great to be a multifunction court if they could. I think we should, if we're gonna do one, even the basketball goal could be a problem sometimes if, I don't think the folks over here at the resort really know there's a basketball goal over there, and I'm not telling them. Right? So,
That's good.
I mean, no offense to anybody, but it just draws some, it's fine for the kids over here to do and it'll get known soon enough, but, anyway.
We also got
yeah.
support for pickleball.
Yeah, did you?
Live stream.
I think I don't know any reason you couldn't do it.
I don't know.
Both, probably strike it for both.
I don't know, or-
We'll look
I
into
have
that.
no idea what
People
pickleball
don't-
is, so.
Yeah,
We use either tennis, badminton, or you do too, or
Really slow tennis.
I think doing one court, pickleball, one court tennis
Yeah.
would be fine too, if I like.
right, okay.
Well, there's one thing you all missed, all of you. We've always had my grandson's birthday here. Rusty knows that.
Yeah.
He's 13. He was 13. It's on the 5th of July, 4th of July. We always have this rented in. So the young guys decided they could beat the old guys in wiffle ball this past 4th of July. So we had a wiffle ball game on the court.
In there, I heard a lot going on one night, and I wondered what was fun was
Awesome game
happening.
you've ever seen.
So you can do wiffle ball in there as well.
Oh, yeah. And it was some kind of game.
Well, I
Who won?
Well, I knew somebody. The young guys beat us, but they had a picture that was tough.
Well, it is a nice, I mean, if you had to build that stuff new right now, it costs a lot of money, so it is being neglected, and
And
we'll
it does
discuss
have
that.
value.
Yeah.
Well, we just have to figure out
Anybody
how to-
know anybody offhand? There's a John Brevard out of Nashville, who resurfaced that. Has anybody else got any other? That's gonna be where I'm going first as far as checking on what it costs. Is anybody involved in knowing refinishing people? Okay. Anything else?
That was it on the agenda.
It sounds great, but we just blew our budget if we do that.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, but
we need to take that under some other discussions.
So I said we gotta
a
pay
lot
for it.
of, yeah, a lot of times though, y'all, in years past, it'll surprise you. You know, we might be a dry year next year, and we may not spend as much money mowing. I mean, you know, the last 2 years, we've just a lot of ways to, this budget kind of shifts a little bit through the course of the year or over the many years that I've been fooling with it, and it's, I think we can make it happen. I think so.
We can take a look at it further.
Rusty, your plans on the oak tree drill, I know this year was a virus and all, but, I mean, is it something you plan to reopen if the virus goes away, or do you know? Or, I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, that's a fair question. I mean, it's most of you utilize the restaurant here, and we appreciate that, always have, and we miss it. As things stand right now, I don't see a future for 2021 for the oak tree. And that could change a lot between now and then, but as it stands, I don't know going forward. Our standing at the moment is this: the restaurant is going to be put on hold for another year, probably completely for next year. It could change drastically, and we may have a different opinion, but we don't know what to do right now. I know for one thing, it's entirely impossible to operate the type of food service that we have there with minimal capacity. It also alleviated a lot of traffic down here, so there were some pluses for it this year. There was a lot of things that maybe in a roundabout way was a benefit for it not being there, but I appreciate all y'all's loyalty to it. We miss it. It's gonna take a few months before we know what to do, really, with that.
Thank you.
And we do have a lot going on in quite over in the resort. I mentioned the launching ramp and stuff, and all. So we got a lot of things that we're hoping to get done between now and next season. And food business it's a tough thing, and I haven't missed it this summer, other than my stomach has really missed it.
For those of you who order to go, we've ordered
Yes.
several times from locals up here and brought it back to go. But that is another, if you don't want to cook,
Right.
option. Locals, it's up here where,
That's the old store.
Where Mayor's Grocery.
I mean, it's a bar.
Yeah.
it's a bar.
It
It is a bar. It is a bar.
You can get to-go orders.
You can get to-go orders. And that helps.
There's a service in Paris now too. There's a young guy that was involved in Uber Eats and stuff out of Nashville. Real sharp kid, evidently. I say he's a kid, he's probably 30, maybe, may not be that old. But he opened up a thing called Take Out to You here, and it's an app you get on your phones, a little pink app on there, Take Out to You. The biggest part of the restaurants in Paris are participating in it, and as long as you plan ahead, an hour and a half ahead, you can order about anything you want in Paris. They'll go to Walmart for you if you want them to. Bring it to you. There's a minimum fee. It used to be $10 delivery fee. Now it's adjusted for what they're doing a little bit, but $10 or $12 will get you most anything brought to your door in Paris that you want. You can leave them a tip on there. They'll ring your doorbell and set it on the door and turn around and leave. And we've used it. I used it this week. I use it nearly every week. We starve to death sometimes out there. You work late and nothing to eat.
You got that new restaurant in Henry too.
In where?
Family table.
Henry, fantastic.
Good. Is it good?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yep.
The family table in Henry.
Yep.
Family table?
Yeah, family,
It's a authentic Italian is what I've understood.
the cook is from
It's a
New
chef.
York.
I need.
He took training from a French school, and it is
Pardon?
the steak.
Pictures I've seen.
Steaks are fantastic.
And it's called.
Where is this?
In Henry,
It's over by Henry
I wonder if it's over there.
Between here and Mackenzie, there's a little town, Henry, about halfway.
It's a speed trap.
Yeah.
is speed traffic.
No alcohol
I know they have to have reservations Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
And if you go on Friday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we'll have reservations.
The family table does have a Facebook.
They're not on that little app I'm talking about, but like, you know, all the Aces, Mexican restaurants in town, all of the, you know, everywhere you go to eat in Paris pretty much is on there, even Dairy Queen, you know, and stuff, so it's not a bad thing. Is there any more discussion, or we get a motion to adjourn and move on?
So,
Any second? David? Second on the motion to adjourn?
I'll second it.
Okay. I see 3 or 4 of those.
All in favor?
Aye.
All
Well, that's a
opposed?
record breaker.
So moved.
Well, thank y'all, again, and thank this board here. They sure are a big help. Yeah.
I want to thank the live streamers for joining. Appreciate y'all. Hopefully we covered, most everything that you needed on that.